here, or having your bar sing, you had to roll to see if you were mesmerized by the sirens. If you were made to stand aside. Your party could wake you. They would have to smack you around a little bit, cause a little bit of damage. Maybe some were a little more heavy-handed than others. But at some point, once this process of mesmerization occurred, they would suddenly change and turn into something a little more nefarious.
That singing was actually our sirens, by the way. It wasn't anything in track. That was them actually.
Demonstration.
Okay. I'm going to finish this up a little bit. You had the two sirens. One was a spellcaster, the other one was a fighter. The spellcaster cast magic missile, and in nightmare settings, she had unlimited magic missile. So there wasn't, if you were waiting for it to run out. Sorry.
Here's another little piece of trivia. The wicked-looking spear she was wielding was a reconstructed tiki torch. We should have brought an auctioned off, which would have been great.
So what about
It was incredibly sharp, actually.
Very sharp, very sharp.
But you know, that's right in line with Star Factories. Take pieces of foam and just stick them on the wall as something. So that's cool. All right, so next we'll go to room 3, which was actually one of the different rooms in both dungeons. So on the combat side, you had combat. On the puzzle side, obviously, you had puzzle. I'm going to talk about the mermaid combat. So if you walked into the combat side of the dungeon, you'd see it looks like a half circle, sort of, well, shower curtain type. It looked like seaweed. And a chest. And as soon as you entered, the curtain would open and the mermaid would attract your attention and plead with you to help her open the chest.
The next slide.
Next slide. So if you chose to try to help her and if you started to look closely at the chest, you would be attacked by an eel, by a dire eel specifically, and you would have to do combat with that. Now, what you didn't know, the mermaid wasn't necessarily evil, so casting Detect Evil on the mermaid wasn't going to tell you very much. She was out for herself, though, so she wasn't necessarily there to help the party like she was claiming to be. And of course, you wondered, did you kill the eel? Did you actually get the chest open? And if you did, supposedly she would promise you the information for a shortcut to go away around some of the other dangers that lie ahead.
She lied.
She lied. Then there's room 3 on the puzzle side.
Yeah, and on the puzzle side, you run into the mermaid again, and she's giving you a little help, supposedly. There is a wrecked ship that has a part of the side, and the old ships used to have sigils on them for like luck and things like that. So you had a little pegboard. Is there a picture of that?
Yeah, at least part of one here.
Okay, you had to start. Oh, well, that's what it looks like. Okay. You had to start on the golden peg.
What's that?
Except for one spot.
Oh, okay, you get that one double, don't you?
Pull the rope tight.
Okay. Actually, yeah, the one actually connects to the little different spot, but that is pretty much it. You had to start on the golden peg, and it gives you the clue that you must go counterclockwise, and it says something about 2 feet. Each length of rope, the distance between the pegs is actually 2 feet. So once you measure that out, and you start going around, and you wrap the rope counterclockwise, you do have to keep it very tight for it actually to match up. You'll go around and you'll make that fish, which is basically a good luck sign, a fisherman.
Or a fisherman, yeah.
Yeah. So, and then she, if you saw it, she pushes you on through with nothing bad happening.
One of the things you'd notice if you look really closely at the piece of ship's hull, there were the high water marks on the side of the hull. And so there was like 11, 12, 13, 14. Ships will have those so you can see where the ship is sitting in the water, how much draft it's pulling, how deep it's sitting. So you could have used that, the distance between the marks, to measure 2 feet. Once you had a 2-foot reference, in fact, when we were doing this, we took the other end of the rope, the loose end of the rope, measured out our 2 feet, and then at every peg, we put the eye over that peg and then swung it around to find the next one that we would go to. Okay? And that's a good way to find it, yes.
Did you have to wrap around the peg?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, well, everyone would be counterclockwise, and you did have to take a wrap around each peg for the lengths to work out.
That was a tough call by here. But yeah, the big thing was you just re-measured each one. No, there was only, if you started at the gold peg, there was only 2 possible ways to go to get, that would be exactly 2 feet from that gold peg. And then once you got to that one, there was only one other way to go. So basically, if you just measured 2 feet from that gold peg, you would make the symbol. There was no other choice.
So this is the
Yeah, she liked it.
tradition in the podcast, right?
Yes, it is.
So room 4 then, and this was the same on both sides. This was the squid, huh? Sorry.
Yes.
So it wasn't a dead squid.
Yeah, this is the dire squid.
This is the dire squid. There was a sign over on the wall that was really to attract your attention away from the curtain. And as you were reading it, there was a blue hand behind the scenes that would open the curtain and trigger the pneumatic effect of this squid jumping out and attacking you. The one thing that the party could have done instead of fighting, of course, it was the combat type, so presumably you wanted to fight, but there was a way to avoid the fight. And that was the supposed pearl that you were carrying was actually her egg. And if you had a druid who attempted to speak to her, the things that you would get from her was impressions of, I want egg, mine. And so baby, things like that. So if you had tried to communicate with it, you would have got the impression that if you gave the pearl to, or the egg to the squid, that she would be happy to go away. And in fact, that's what would happen.
Also, the bardic lore talks about, if you make the check, it says dire squids are elusive, shy, and overly protective of their young. So.
Yeah, another clue that you didn't get that you were supposed to, we just had enough blue hands. We actually had these loose tentacles that matched there, and they were going to be in rooms 1, 2, and 3 behind the scenes, kind of moving it behind the plastic. So every once in a while you catch a glimpse of a tentacle. To give you an idea, you're being shadowed by something with tentacle. Unfortunately, we had some people cancel, and we just did not have enough help to do that. It would have been cool.
Good luck for volunteers for next year.
Oh, do you need those?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so room 5. Room 5 was the cellar. So as you walk in, there's a table. On the table, there are several letters. And then on the wall, you will see barrels with these gold plaques on the barrels with different types of liquids, indicating that there are different types of liquids on the inside. The text of it was that 9 girls are in front of you, 8 of the 9 are poisoned, 1 of them is not. It is your job to try to figure out which one is not poisoned and take a drink from that, and that is the way that you would get out into the next room. The letters on the table, if you look closely, you would see that there were ideally 4 sets of each letter. And Jeff loves anagrams. So if you knew you had 4 sets of each letter, likely you were trying to make 4 5-letter words. And on the left there are the 4 5-letter words that you can make: large, lager,